All right, everybody, welcome back to the long-awaited return of the Bald Podcast. This is the 9th one, Hunter. You believe it?
Yeah, it's this wasn't planned. We've just decided to do it, and we're getting close to
We'll see where.
to this podcast series having more podcasts than I ever did.
Yeah, this could be the longest, most running podcast, I guess, in jumping history, which is pretty cool. I'm joined today, as always, with Hunter, except not always, most of the time with Hunter. We got Smokey in here as well.
Hello.
How you doing, Smokey? We got Gary.
What do you guys think the chances are that Snoz and Gary included their audio? Maybe Gary. I bet Snoz didn't, though.
Snoz probably didn't include his audio. We'll find out. But we also have Snoz.
Snoz is also here.
Yeah, but I actually included my audio, but I'm going to the airport in like 20 minutes, so yeah.
Okay.
Short-lived participation from Snoz.
Well, I mean, as long as these are, I'll probably
just need to milk.
We just need to milk as
Snoz.
much out of Snoz as possible.
It could be worse.
I'll probably
We
be
could have
back and
no
you'll still be
Snoz.
doing it, so it's fine.
Yeah. No, dude, you gotta go. If you're going to pick up your girl at the airport, you gotta take her to
That's
lunch or
his
something.
sister?
My what?
Oh, I thought it was your girlfriend. Okay, never mind. I'll shut up.
Oh dear.
I mean, in certain states it is okay.
Skywalker.
I mean, I'm just saying.
And what states are those?
Yeah,
Charlie?
specify. Why do you
Are we
know?
going to throw some
Alabama.
states under the bus?
Alabama.
Oh,
Well,
God.
It's not
Mississippi,
okay.
probably.
But, well, I don't know if there's actually a law. To be
I saw a meme. I saw a meme a few days ago. Actually, that it's the scene at the end of Return of the Jedi when Leia tells Han that Luke's
Oh yeah.
her brother, but they've changed the words. It's like still images, but it's just like, oh yeah, we fucked all the time and there's all this stuff, and it's just like, it's okay because he's my brother. And, you know, twins always have a connection, and then it just shows Han with his mouth like wide open, looking at her like, what the hell did you just say to me?
These are the kind of podcasts.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ. Yeah, it's one of these kind of. We're off to a great start. Yeah, we can say our fucks and shit, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't specify that.
Yeah. So what are we talking about today, Hunter? What's our topic of interest?
I'm
lie.
probably going to go on a tangent at some point, probably after Snaz leaves, talking about football,
Please.
because I won't have an opportunity to talk about it for another 2 months after today, because
Ooh.
today was the end of the football season, and Everton are still somewhat
Everton
good.
#1.
They're still sort of good, I guess.
Everton
didn't get relegated.
#1.
They're still in the best. They're still in the best league in the world, so I guess they're still sort of good. But
Hell yeah.
I have a topic of conversation, but we can come on to that a little later.
I mean, okay, I was gonna make a very sus joke, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna save that one. Stuff that's new with me, I guess. I guess I did finish my tournament today.
Yes.
Like getting runs. I have to get some randos, but that'll be whatever. I only have to get 8, so it's not gonna hurt me too much.
Actually, that's something I can talk to you about. I want to discuss this atrociously shocking run order since you put it up in the Discord.
Oh yeah, it's called lottery.
I mean, me 7, Smokey 10.
Well, yeah, it's called lottery.
It's just not a good enough lottery. Snoz 41, obviously way too high. Pacific Champ 44.
Lottery, man.
I also didn't know if you'd actually managed to get Matt to do a run, because I saw him on the
Matt did
list.
do a run.
He did.
Matt is, in fact, everybody who's on that list did a run.
Okay.
So
It's a good list.
Yeah, because
It's a
that's
lot of good
the
people.
final run order.
And sorry, so you got
Yeah,
42
no.
runs?
Yeah, 42. It's actually a Halo Sasuke record, I guess. Like, I've usually had to pull about 15 randos, and I've only had to pull about 8 for this one. So
It's a good list. There's a lot of.
it's a good cast, you know. I will say, as far as the results go, they are it's one of my favorites results wise. For factors I won't really get into, so I'd stay tuned for that.
Giveaway spoilers.
I am hoping for June 10th. I'm holding out for June 10th, but we will see. It all depends, honestly, on when I can do commentary and be able to, yell and stuff in this household that I'm in. So, other than that, not much going on. I started working my job. See, Snoz?
No, the way you said that, you're like, I'm all done. Well, that wraps up the podcast.
Podcast concluded.
Yeah. No, I started working a job. I'm
What's the
working
job?
as a landscaper.
Oh.
For a pretty decent change, not gonna lie. I get to mow lawns, which is fun. I get to weed whack a shit ton.
You get to do what with weeds? Sorry?
I get to whack them. You don't.
The joke would have been
British
better if I just said
terminology?
weed instead of weeds, plural.
Yes, in fact. But, yeah, basically I'm doing hard manual labor for pretty decent money, and it's great.
Which is, like, good for you because you've been hitting the gym so much that you might as well find another excuse to work
be
on
out and
those.
about and exercise, and work on those. Yeah, dude,
Work on
I
those
spent my Friday like about 6 hours straight because my weed whacker like just straight up died. So I had to pull weeds like by hand in this guy's like garden because we're gonna like mulch it and stuff soon. And the weed whacker went out, and I couldn't go. I didn't have like a gas tank with me because all the trucks and stuff the company has were being used, so I had to use my own car to get to the place. And so I basically just pulled weeds by hand for about 6 hours straight. It was awesome. I don't recommend. It kind of hurt after a while. I'm not gonna lie. My hands were dying.
Sounds
Not
kind of
much to
weedy.
it though. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. But no, that's about it for me. Just kind of living.
Just kind of living.
That's about it. How's your life been? On
Well, I'm hoping. Watch this just all go horribly wrong tomorrow, but I'm hoping to have the next episode of Ninja Warrior of Halo out next weekend. At the time of recording,
wow.
Everything is ready to go. I just need to put commentary on it, and I need to put everything together, and then we finally have an episode. It's been, I want to say, like November was episode 1, and this episode should have come out like 2 months ago, but hard drive issues. Yeah. I'm not going to get into that here, even though I think I said 3 podcasts ago
I was gonna. In the last podcast.
I think I said like 2 podcasts ago I was gonna get into this, and then I was gonna upload a video on my own channel talking about it, and then that still hasn't happened yet. But yeah. So I've got things are back on track, and yeah, just I got a sort of idea in my head of a sort of video upload schedule. It's just all about trying to stick to it, whilst also thinking about when I'm going to actually start forging this new tournament.
Oh, on Infinite.
Yes, which I do want to do.
Hell yeah. Since we have you here, Smokey, how's your course going?
Course going well. I've got a good amount of runs for, I obviously hit my deadline a few weeks ago, but right now I'm just waiting until I have the motivation to go hunting for newcomers. But in the meantime, just kind of taking a break, relaxing. I'm gonna be gone for a few weeks, so there's probably not gonna be anything happening soon. But
Good to hear. And honestly, like, I think what's nice about jumping now is that, like, Smokey and Hunter and, like, Rod can take these, like, breaks and the community will still be active because now we have, like, Irish and, you know, I'm getting back into it now. And, there's some other Flame. He started his course, which is pretty cool. I actually ran yesterday. It was a good course. I think that a big thing with infinite courses right now is that like people are trying to work out their flaws with the courses. I think everybody has that to an extent right now, but no, Flame's course looked great.
I mean, it is interesting because like when you think about Halo 5 when it first came out, like when Halo 5 first came out, what courses were happening like right at the beginning of Halo 5? Because I know I started mine up as soon as Force came out.
Was it just you and Rog?
But
at the start,
I think like Rog took a little while, and you know, starting on Halo 5, my Tournament 17 course wasn't like all that great, in my opinion. Rog obviously had a lot of criticism about his course early on, so it shouldn't be a surprise that like now that there's so many people on Infinite trying to host courses, there's no surprise that a lot of them are having a lot of those kinks that need to be worked out. And there's been a lot of complaining about different courses. There's no doubt about that. But what do you expect on a brand new game?
I think that's the big difference maker since like I feel like the three of us have like worked out like switching to a new game before because I did start jumping on MCC. And I know you guys started a while back. Like a lot of these competitors have never switched before, you know?
That's true.
Well, it's different now, right? I mean, this is the first switch of a game where literally your experience jumping changes based on what console you're on. Right? So,
well, yes, but also
not completely. I guess what I'm saying is a lot of people blame these courses for lag, and I don't really think it's the courses as much as people think. I think, like for myself, I have a very inferior Xbox. I have an Xbox One S, right? It's not one of the better consoles by any means, and I get more lag in game. And it's mainly because of that. People have gotten new consoles like GoTanks and said the difference in, I quote GoTanks, night and day. The lag is not completely gone, but like he says, it's night and day the difference. So, you know, that's not somebody's course design.
You got to look at the Xbox side of it. Like back when we swapped from Halo 4 to MCC, we didn't have the option of playing MCC on the old console. You had to get the new console to play the new game.
That's a good point.
So the fact that now you can play the new game, but you can play it on the old console, it's not like it's kind of it almost would benefit. It would have benefited Xbox a lot more to say no, you're not going to be able to play Infinite on these.
Get the new console. Yeah,
you got to get.
I kind of agree with that.
Simply put, the previous console's processing
Jumping?
power is not optimized
Is it working?
for
I
the
can see
game.
it on Twitch.
Well, there's multiple people that...
Oh, it's because I'm on a different account. That's why.
I mean,
it's not gonna be up
Ump's
on my
another
Twitch,
one that got the new console. I mean, I can't say because I don't know, but I'm guessing part of it had to do with the performance, right? On Infinite. Because when you're on Halo 5, there wasn't really a change based on console like there is on Infinite.
Everyone had an even playing field to every previous Halo game up to this point.
Well,
everyone was on a level playing field from a console point of view.
Well, and to be fair, it's my choice to have an old console, right? It's not a tournament coordinator's job to worry about me on you know what I mean? He makes a course, and if it's not as good because I'm on the 1S, well, that's my problem, not theirs.
Everyone's got 4 options now, basically, and there's, I think, probably 2 options that would be considered good and 2 that produce the so-called problems that we're talking about right now. The problems being on if you're still on a 1 or if you're on an S, which I'm still on the 1. Snoz is obviously on the S.
I'm on the 1S, you're on the 1X,
just the 1. No, just the 1, the Xbox One, as Dom would call it.
Because mine's titled the 1S.
S, yeah. Whereas
there's the One X
good
as
options.
well. There's
the good options is the
One
one.
X. All three
Yeah,
of
the
those
good
things.
options is the One X or PC, but obviously PC is dependent
No,
on
the Series X.
Series
not
X
the
is
One
the
X.
good option.
Series
the
S,
Series
sorry.
X.
Series
Yeah,
X.
yeah.
Sorry.
The One X ain't gonna do much good.
But not everyone can afford that.
I'm
you know?
playing on a Series S right now.
A Series
That's
S is
what
also
I
good.
use.
Okay, so there's 5 options actually.
I mean,
Series X and PC would all be good.
I mean,
would
I
all be
get
better
what I
than a
pay
1X.
for, right? Mine was only brand new, was only a couple $100.
Was there
at
6
Best
options?
Buy.
Is there 6 options then? We got the 1, the 1S, the 1X, the Series S, the Series X, and PC. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
I
if
would
you're gonna go
imagine
that hard,
it's-
then you've got like 8,955 options because you can go with all the different type of PC.
It is probably the best. It's probably the best on the
with
PC. Like
3080.
you have, like Smokey, you have a Series X. If you play matchmaking on the Series X versus the PC, is there a noticeable difference?
No.
Well, I was going to bring up the matchmaking actually, because although the
there's
console,
a lot of different PCs.
I would say, although the console, there is a noticeable difference between what console you're playing on in terms of running these courses. I do also think it is still no matter what console you're on, it is still a game issue because night and day. And I'm not going to give any spoilers away when I do this, but like I've definitely ran a few courses recently on Infinite where I've been suffering from some really bad lag. But then I'll jump into a matchmaking game and I don't lag once because the servers, they've pumped all the work. 343 have put so much work into making sure the matchmaking servers are, functional and they work. And that sort of work just hasn't gone into the custom game servers yet.
I mean, I guess I could agree with the lag side of that, but I'll say this, dude: playing matchmaking on the old console was absolutely horrific. When you upgrade to a new console and then you do matchmaking, it's again night and day.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're digging really far deep into the game right now, but like, what was I gonna say? Oh god, I spaced out. This is awful.
I forgot. I can't even remember how we got into this conversation. Were we just talking about running people? We were talking about other courses.
I was talking about how Flames course was looking pretty good. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah,
we were just talking about how there's a lot of new courses working out kinks right now.
We got so Flames tournaments going on right now. Irish has just wrapped up his tournament, and Lennox obviously just wrapped up his tournament. Smokey's mostly done. So really, right now, most people have only got Flames course to do. Oh no, and Rog obviously. Rog hasn't finished his tournament yet.
Yeah, Rog's
that's still ongoing.
Going.
That's still in the middle of But we've just come obviously we've come off a spell where there's a lot of courses that have been happening. So it's everyone's got something to do. There's some different people got different choices, different courses that they could want to run. Not that it hasn't brought up a few problems. Yeah, okay. I think I might just get into this, what I wanted to say. This is what I kind of wanted to speak about in this podcast. That I kind of warned Chumpy what the topic was going to be.
Yeah.
So I've noticed recently there's a lot of people, whether it's on Discord or Xbox, have been chatting a lot of stuff about running courses, or specifically not running courses, for various reasons. And I know there's been the usual complaints, Infinite, for whatever problems that the four of us, not Gary, any problems that the four of us may have had, when we've ran a course on Infinite or hosted a course or whatever. I think it's for the most part it's not been that bad. I can't speak for obviously every person because I don't know like what console everybody's got or what people's internet is like or whatever. But there's a lot of people I know that are just like absolutely just running out of total patience with the game. Like they feel like they just can't compete or can't do anything in terms of like attempting to be a decent competitor. And that's led to a lot of people I've noticed saying, like, oh, I'm not going to compete on Infinite, or I'm not going to compete on this course. Now, I don't have a problem. People that say I'm not going to run on Infinite right now, just at all, I don't have a problem with that, because you're not running. Because if you say that, it means you're not running any Infinite tournament. So
Yeah.
no one's gaining anything, no one's losing anything. Everyone's obviously like everyone we just said, Chumpy, Flame,
If it's
Smokey,
if
Rog,
yeah, if it's
Irish, all these tournaments are losing one person. But if that person, if a different person says, "Oh yeah, I don't like Infinite right now, but I'm gonna run Rog's course, or I'm gonna run Smokey's course." Oh, Irish is running a tournament. Yeah, I'm not really bothered about that. Oh, Atlantic's running a tournament. Yeah, nah, I'm not really interested in that. Oh,
Hold
Rog's
that
running the
thought
tournament.
right there. I'm going to stop this right in your tracks. No one is required to run your course.
I'm very much with Gary on this one.
No one
No.
is required to run your course.
That's fine.
Been hearing this for weeks.
Even Gary's heard about it.
Complaints about that. Yeah, I have heard about it, and I'm tired of hearing people complain about it.
I'm 100% with Gary on this one.
No, okay. So sorry.
I-
Let me. I'm
Let him
not
finish
fully
his
clarifying
thought.
it properly. I'm not fully clarifying it properly. Um, Picking, yeah, there's no obligation for people to run your course or whatever. The problem I have right now is the people that are like deliberately like picking and choosing. And again, there's nothing, if some people want to run one course and other people want to not run a different course, yeah, okay, I can sort of get it. But when you're just making up like bullshit excuses, I don't want to name names here, but I feel like I'm going to. Um, I feel like, and for anyone I'm about to name that watches this is not me trying to throw you under the bus. This is just me offering my opinion because I just think it's just very bizarre. Um, you didn't get Puma to do a run, did you, Atlantic?
No, but I'm pretty confident I know why he doesn't want to run my course.
No. I said Atlantic, not Smokey. I get it for different reasons.
Okay,
He's
gotcha.
not on this list, is he? I'm looking at the list again. Atlantic. He's not on this list, is he? Atlantic, you
sent
here?
me a list. You
On the run order.
sent me a list.
No, on
Oh,
your run
no,
order.
he's not on the run order. No.
Yeah,
No,
he didn't
he's
want to
not.
run your course for whatever reason, but then like Rogs and Irishes, and I don't know if he ran Flame. I'm going to say Flames. Like he ran those two, but he didn't give like a decent or like even a proper reason at all, like to say if he wanted to run your course. That's I'm Team Puma. Everyone knows that, but even I found that very bizarre, random, and obscure. Again, as Gary says, he doesn't have to give a reason for not competing. But I can understand from Atlantic's point of view why it feels like a bit of a dick move that it's just like, oh yeah, I'll run these courses. Oh, I'm not going to run your course. No, I'm not going to give you a reason. Anyway, that's just one example. Sorry, let me just, that's one example. It's not far off though from it being only like I know obviously he's not ran Smokies, but I'm not shocked. But I did think it. I think it was. I thought it was a little bit harsh on Chumpy. Maybe.
I'll speak up for myself. I don't think that it was harsh for him to not want to run. I think it was pretty harsh for whenever I asked why he didn't give me an answer. But the other reason why is because he put it in the Discord, a private conversation I had with him. He brought it to a Discord. I think that is harsh. Okay, and then I got settled with it.
Yeah.
With it. Then.
Okay, then there was another one. I can't believe this is, I can't believe I'm throwing his name in here, but Flames popped up with this whole thing about he doesn't want to run Rog's course because he, quote unquote, has been getting like something to do with like his heart, it just goes like through the roof or something whenever he runs Rog's course. But it only happens when he runs Rog's course, so he's not going to compete on Rog's course. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, if this was an actual problem, then you'd be getting this on every course. Why are you using this as an excuse to not run Rog's course, but you'll happily run anyone else's course? And they've been arguing and fighting. I'm not going to speak on that. But yeah, if you got a heart problem, dude, don't run any courses. Don't make up excuses about a serious thing like that. If you're just going to use it as an excuse to get out of running one course. I don't like that. I don't get it, and it's just obscure to me. Then there's Tricky, Jake, Sunny, all these people that are trying to hang on to Halo 5. Halo 5's gone, guys. You need to get over it. You might not like Halo Infinite, but we're here, we're on this game, and we're not going back. So any problems that you guys have with this new game, we all have these problems. I have them, Chompy has them, Smokey has them, Snoz has them. We all learn how to deal with it, or we're learning how to deal with it, and we're still running courses. Don't use it as an excuse to not run courses. Yeah, the game might suck. Yeah, it might be really hard for you guys, but you gotta try at least. You gotta give it a go.
Is Hunter the Skip Bayless of the Halo jumping community?
I'm going on a bit of a rant right now, I'll admit.
Bro, if they don't want to be on Halo Infinite, then they don't have to be. Like, they can play on Halo.
They don't have to be.
Fun.
They don't have to be, but they need to just stop living in. If you don't want to be on it,
we live in the past with HPL.
Well, that's different. We haven't really got a choice on that.
I'm just saying, like, what's wrong with them going back to Halo 5 to jump around?
They can play. No. I haven't got a problem with them. Like, if they stay on Halo 5 forever now for the next 10 years and didn't want to run Infinite tournaments, that's fine. Just don't come in the Discord complaining about it. Like, oh, like Infinite sucks, or oh, I can't figure out bouncers. Oh, bouncers are so inconsistent.
I'll agree with that.
Blah. Dude, just either learn like every other competitor that's competed on an Infinite course. Learn like them, because we all had to learn, and we aren't using it as an excuse. If we fail, we fail. And just don't complain about it. It just bugs me. Or use it as an excuse.
Or cheat.
Yeah.
Or
anyway,
cheat, yeah.
And the absolute worst one that popped up yesterday, Chumpy, I don't know if you're near Discord. I'm going to send you something.
I'm near Discord.
I'm going to send you something. So I was in a party yesterday when Booker came in to run. In fact, it was just after your run. You did Flames course. Booker came in. He was sitting around waiting. And eventually, he got to run Flames course, which is why he was there. I'm not going to spoil anything because obviously it's Flames tournament and the run's not come out. But he was just messing around, and he was being an absolute. Well, he sent some messages. I don't know if you've seen him in Flames Discord, just moaning about the fact he had to wait.
Yeah.
And I just didn't understand why he was
here
getting.
for this.
I didn't understand why he was getting so mad. So I just privately messaged him in DMs just to say like, what's wrong, man? Why are you getting so mad about having to wait? Like somebody else was running. And he sent me. This is just for Chumpy. I didn't fully send it. Can I screenshot this?
Yeah, probably. Are you on computer?
Yeah, there you go. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can read that. I don't know if you can see that. This is a really interesting part of the podcast for anyone listening.
Sorry. Well, yeah, there's not much to listen to because I'm reading, but...
Can you read that? It's from where he's put the slur downwards, basically.
Oh, God.
He's black, though, so he's like...
Yeah, well,
What are we
yeah,
doing?
but
It's okay.
This is really the type of content y'all making? What the fuck?
not that. No. It's just for this is just absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah. No, you don't go on somebody's course and meme around if you know you're not going to do well. I agree. And there's other people in the past, like before Infinite, that are guilty of this. But like, yeah, I absolutely agree.
I don't have a problem. No, that's not even what the problem with. I don't have a problem with him trolling around. I think there's not enough trolls. Like, there's that dude. What's his name? Not Shin dude, the other dude. Takito, that was his name. He was an absolute troll. I don't have a problem with trolls, like, as long as they, like, try. If they want to mess around and, like, have a joke, then that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think there's enough of that anymore. But it's his reaction to me messaging him. Like, dude.
Yeah, he was very hostile.
It's just absolutely unnecessary. Yeah, and it's just anyway. So all of this, sorry, the reason why I've brought all of this up is because I think a very basic message has been lost here, or needs to be brought across, which is the reason why I wanted to say it, and is what I'm going to say, what I'm about to say now. Gary is absolutely right. You have no obligation to run any course, whether it's my course, Smokey's course, Rog's course, Irish's course, Chumpy's course, Flame's course, or anybody else's course. Absolutely no obligation that you have to run it. You know, in the case of Irish, Chumpy, Flame, they've all got 50 competitors anyway, so they can't get everyone regardless. We run 100 competitors, and we still can't necessarily get everyone we want. There's no obligation to have to run a course. That's fine. But the people that are making up these bullshit excuses to get out of not competing, I was like, oh, I'm not going to compete because, you know, Infinite sucks, or the bouncers, blah, blah, blah. Here's what I would say. If you're that worried about failing or looking bad, because that's the whole reason why they're making up these excuses, it's because they don't want to look bad. You need to remember that the whole reason we do this is that it's meant to be for fun. We're meant to enjoy it. It's just meant to be having a laugh. Not with the expectation. That's why I don't get it with Flame. Because with Flame, like, he is the competitor that he is because of Rog's course. He's done wondrous things on Rog's course. He's like probably like a top 10 competitor. Maybe even a top 5 competitor all time on Rog's course. And to make up an excuse like that, to say, I'm not going to compete, no, I don't buy it. It's just an absolute excuse to get out of not looking bad in your tournament. If I run, look, everyone knows where I stand on it. I'm Mr. Show up to every tournament if I can. Smokey, don't ever ban me from a tournament. But, like, I don't care. Well, I do care about how I do, but if I fail, like, horrifically bad, it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I could step up to a course and fail the first obstacle. It would be absolutely disastrous. But it's not the end of the world. You got to do this for fun. You got to enjoy it first and foremost. And if you're not enjoying it, then I would probably guess that 99 times out of 100, the reason you're not enjoying it is because of yourself. Is because you're not letting yourself enjoy it. So, yeah, I apologize for going on a rant. I apologize if Smokey thinks that these podcasts are all about ranting. It's not. This is just something that's been on my mind for a few weeks now and has been popping up with multiple different incidents in Xbox parties or on Discord or something, and I feel like I wanted to say something about it. It's just, I don't get it. You just gotta, you know, people like me, Smokey, Snoz, Go Tanks, Soul, people that have been here for 8, 9, 10 plus years. You think we're still all doing this because we don't enjoy it? Of course we're still doing this because we enjoy it. We have fun doing it. If we didn't, then we wouldn't still be running. And we certainly wouldn't be running. We certainly would have stopped competing ages ago if we were worried about looking bad. So, yeah, all these people that are just complaining about not or making up excuses to not compete because they're worried about looking bad. Because I can guarantee that's the reason why all these excuses are made. You just need to remember that the most important reason why you should be doing this is to have fun. It's just a bunch of random
Number
people.
one rule.
The number
The
one rule is to
number one
have
rule.
fun. Yeah, you know what? Chumpy's got it spot
Yeah.
on. I knew there was a reason
In
why that was the motto.
conclusion,
I knew there was a reason why that was the motto after 16 tournaments.
I've been really pushed. I think whenever I announced my tournament and I had like a bunch of rules and stuff, I specifically made that like a paragraph about not getting overly like angry and frustrated and just like compete because you want to have fun on a video game. Like I made that as a joke like years ago when I started hosting. Years ago. And it holds true because people need to learn how to do it. You know?
You think
You
when
need to learn
Smokey,
how to
you
have
think
fun.
when Smokey started, he thought about, and I can ask Smokey this because he's here. He felt like at one point giving up because he sucked in the early days. No, of course not, because he just enjoyed doing it.
Do you think that me hyping up, like me coming back from college and hosting for like 50 days straight was because I'd wanted to have like a popular course? No, it's because I personally was excited to host. And I'm personally excited to come back and compete. I ran day 1 on Flames course yesterday because I was excited to run it. And just be a participant, you know? Me as a competitor is not what I was like 3 years ago, and I've accepted that, and I just enjoy it now.
Yeah, that's the excuse I've been using for years now. My peak days are long gone. All I care about now is enjoying myself and seeing if I can beat stage 1 in every tournament that I run, and then see how far I can get after that. Of course, I want to still do well. Of course, I'd love to get to final stages or stage 3s or whatever. But like, I'm not going into any tournament expecting to do that. It's just, if every run I'll walk away from, especially if it's a stage 1 fail, I'll probably have a brief like period or moment where I'll be just like, I should have done this, or I made such a silly mistake by doing that. And then I guarantee I'll probably then go, yeah, it is what it is.
Yep.
And then that's it. If I do races most weeks, and if something happens to me in the race and I get frustrated, if I'm still frustrated after the race, I'll go to sleep and then I'll have forgotten about it in the morning. And if I've like gone out of my way to like abuse someone during that race, tell them to piss off or something, or that they're an idiot, I'll probably go and message them the morning after, apologize. It's just, yeah, it's just.
Chopstick says hi, everyone.
Oh,
Hey, everyone.
yeah. I'm sorry. I've lowered the tone a little too much. I've turned this into a very serious conversation. I felt like it was a conversation that needed to be had, and probably will need to be had with people again in the future. I didn't mean for it to come across so seriously, especially since Gary's here.
I feel like you've managed to take what you said prior to me objecting and just ran with that, regardless of what I said, for the next 10 minutes. And then you have the audacity to make the person look like a bad guy by quoting, the number one rule is to have fun. Well, of course, until you decide not to play a course because you don't enjoy it, then you're an asshole.
Well, I don't know if that's how it had meant to come
That's
across.
the whole message that I've managed to garner from what you've been saying. That's the entire message. As an objective spectator outside of the course running.
Yeah, because
I
that's
don't
all
think
I
heard.
I'll be honest. I don't agree that the number one reason that people don't compete on a course is because they don't want to look bad. I completely disagree. I think that there's a lot of things that factor into a person's decision to not want to run on a single course, and it goes far beyond just, oh, I don't think I'm going to do very well. So,
Well, what do you think then? Go on. I want a different opinion. I do want to.
I think a lot of it'll come down to people's opinion of the course host themselves or the obstacles themselves. If they just disagree with the way that the course was made, they're like, oh, I don't like how they're doing these obstacles or whatever. Like stuff like that. Stuff that where a competitor thinks that they know how it could have been done better, essentially. And that's not, you know, could they still do well? Yeah, obviously they can. But, if they disagree with someone, then, some people won't compete out of spite. All sorts of crap like that, There's
Yeah,
some...
just for reference, I don't think it's the only reason. I should have specified that. In my opinion, I think it's one of the number one reasons, but I should specify
It is a common
to the
reason,
viewers. I don't think it's the only reason. But I think what you just said about not like.
But I also think that personal grudges and shit are fucking lame.
Yeah,
like,
but who cares?
General.
Okay, so if a course host, if there's a competitor who has a grudge with the course host and they're not going to compete on that course because of said grudge, who cares?
No, yeah, I do, yeah, I do get that.
I do think it's petty.
Yeah, it's petty, but so what?
It's a light.
It's
I'm
just
not
one
saying
less
that.
course runner.
As the course host, you have to, what you encompass in terms of your course is so much greater than any one competitor. So you should never base anything that you do around any one competitor. If you're getting salty because one person isn't competing on your course because they're holding a grudge, then forget about them. Don't let them take up any space in your head. Don't let them live there rent free. Just say, okay, they're not competing, and move on.
I do get it's different. I should also, yeah. I don't know if I certainly understand that. For me, it's sort of I'd like to think for the most part in the 23 tournaments I've hosted, I've always managed to sort of, as a course host at least, no matter how frustrated someone has ever got over a fail or like an obstacle or whatever, or going into a tournament, whatever it may be, I've always managed to stay like extremely level-headed or calm, specifically for the reason of thinking, oh, I don't want to piss this guy off and be like, oh, well, maybe you shouldn't have complained, blah, 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 and then like get in a situation where like, oh, they're not going to compete anymore. I feel like I don't think there's been many big names that have been competing all these years that have like specifically decided I'm not going to run I'm not going to run Hunt's tournament this time. Granted, it helps that I've only ran like one a year, so it's really like the only opportunity for people to run my tournament. So almost more often than not, I always get everyone that I want to get. There's still people that don't show up because like they're just not around or whatever. But I don't know. I just wanted to say what I said because I feel like it is becoming a much more common reason for not competing. Again, I'm not saying that people. I'm not saying that people should hear this. I was going to say I'm not saying people should hear this and think they should change their mind. I think it needs to be put into some perspective. Personally,
there's two reasons why this type of stuff comes up. Number one is there's more people in the jumping community now than there ever has been. And number two is there's more jumping courses going on than there ever has been. So I feel like we've come into this idea that like every single person who's in the jumping community needs to be participating and needs to do every single course. Like, who cares? If someone just wants to do one, then let them do one. As a course host, you can't be bothered about which courses someone chooses to do and why they don't choose to do yours. Because the fact of the matter is there's still enough people choosing to do yours, and it's not like we've had a full-on boycott on any courses. No. We just got like a competitor here and there who doesn't want to compete on a select few tournaments, and I think we'll be all right.
No, like I say, I'm not like I say, even the names that I just said, it's not meant to be a sort of specific targeting or anything like that. They're just examples. It's just a concern that I have that it could become a general excuse, either by a group of people or by the same person or like the same people over, the next 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. They're just like, oh, Infinite, it sucks. And it's just like, you just
I
gotta
don't believe
either
that for
do
Fuck
it
them,
even
or
leave
one
them, leave them,
second.
leave them behind, dude. I really just don't. Like, if people need to come to their realizations on their own. They shouldn't have to have their hands held to come to the same conclusion that the rest of us have come to, you know?
Hmm.
But I will say the one thing I agree with you hands down, 100% agree with you on is, uh, no, stop with the lies, stop with the bullshit excuses. Just be straight up with people, and if they don't like it, whatever. But like, yeah, if you don't want to run on someone's course, don't make up a lie or an excuse as to why.
Do you know
Just
why
tell
they
them.
do that?
Because of the way some people react.
Yeah, an
Yeah,
extremely
exactly.
negative
That's why
backlash in the community behind closed doors about select group of people, some of which have already been name dropped in this podcast. And you're chuckling. It's not funny. It's extremely bogue. You create an online broadcast and then you call people out for shit that most people don't even know about, and you publish it to the world.
I wouldn't say most
You use it
people.
as a soapbox to treat the people you don't agree with
podcast.
as lesser people. Like their opinions don't
Huh?
count. Like their feelings don't count.
Oh, that's every
They try to hide
that's sports media in a nutshell, though.
they try to hide like their
I will say this generally speaking
unwillingness
isn't
to
what
run a
happens on the
course
podcast.
by coming up with an excuse, trying to circumvent any potential backlash.
But isn't that what Smokey just said? Is it's just don't make up an excuse if it's bullshit.
Yes, but the reason why is not what's been covered. The reason why hasn't been spoken of. Not only that, most of these people don't have the ability to defend themselves in this conversation.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say, well, by that logic, any conversation that's ever made in a podcast where someone's spoken about or like called out in some
I
way.
think it's bogue no matter which way it goes. No matter who does it.
Like I say, this is just me offering my opinion. Doesn't necessarily mean anything is going to change. I just think it's unnecessary, and in some cases, it's unfair for the course host that it may or may not be affecting, or course host, or just all course hosts. If a person is just deciding to use a bogus excuse to not run, hey, if you don't want to run, that's fine. Just be straight and upfront about it.
Yeah, but then also as course hosts, I mean, I could read you I sent a lot of people messages from this current tournament that I'm hosting. I've got 4 different messages in my chat where I said, "Do you want to run Halo Ninja Warrior Tournament 26?" And 4 different people replied, "No, I do not." And I either said, "Okay, thanks for letting me know," or I just didn't respond, and I left it at that, and that was it. I didn't want to try to make them feel bad for not competing. I'm not going to try to persuade them to compete. Nothing like that. Just they said they didn't want to compete. I take their word as it is and move on. And then because if you don't do that, to Gary's point, if I say, well, what the fuck? I reserved a spot for you, blah blah blah, all this shit. You're one of my all-stars. You're supposed to be competing. Then now they're not going to want to tell me in the future. Like in the future, they're going to want to make up some bullshit excuse or whatever because they don't have that trust with the host. So course host needs to build trust and understanding with their competitors.
Well, I think I was going to say that sort of leans back into what I was like. I feel like I've always tried to be transparent. So maybe if that was me in that situation, I'd sort of ask, oh, why? How come you don't want to compete or whatever?
I was gonna say I
asked a
legitimately
straight up question.
I
asked,
didn't.
Are you gonna compete in this tournament? And they said no, and that's all I needed to hear.
Hmm.
We don't need to do anything more than that.
Because I was gonna say, like, legitimately, Puma said no. I was like, okay, and then I asked why. That's all I wanted from that.
Again, so this
I
is
just
not meant
wanted
to
a
be,
why.
this is not meant to be a specific against Puma, obviously, or this is not meant to be
But I'm
specific against
saying it's a
anyone.
specific example from my
For your
experience.
for
That's
your
like the
perspective,
only,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I,
Uh,
to Gary's point, I apologize if anyone. I did say this at the beginning before I even said any names. To anyone that watches this, this is not a deliberate targeting of any said individuals. This is just a general point that I feel like is an issue that needed to be
and
discussed.
I
Um,
just will say, I don't get the problem with asking somebody why. I think that's a pretty rational question to
Okay,
want to
all
ask,
right.
and I feel like I've taken a lot of heat from people for asking that, and I think that it's not fair from my perspective to
All right, I'll say
be
this. I don't
curious
think that
as to why.
I don't think there's a problem with asking why. But if you ask why and you don't get the answer, I don't know what all happened in that situation. But and I'm not saying you
The
specifically. I'm not
answer I
saying you
got was
specifically.
no
I'm just
answer.
saying, in a vacuum,
Yeah.
if a competitor, if a course host asks a competitor if they want to compete, the competitor says no. Course host says why, and then the competitor does not want to give them a reason. That's I don't see a
that's
problem
where
with
I
that
would
at all.
leave it. That's where I would leave
Yeah,
it.
Everything
Yeah.
then you
beyond
just stop.
the
That
word
that is
"why"
pretty
is
much
on
where I
the
left
course
it.
is on the host of the course.
It would be me if it was me in the situation like Smokey just said. I think using this as an example, Smokey would ask, "Do you want to compete?" They'd say no, and that's where Smokey would leave the
Yeah, I
conversation.
don't need to
If it
ask
was
why.
me, if it was me, I would then maybe ask why, and then whatever they said, I would then probably just leave it at that. And anything beyond that, that's on whoever the course host is. If they want to start a conversation, that's their problem, and could lead to their consequences if it then leads into a full scale argument. Um, I would just want some. If it was me in that situation, I'm just looking for some feedback. As oh yeah, why don't you want to compete? Some people have some perfectly legitimate reasons. Like Drago, for example, he's got a kid, he's got a family, he's got a life. If he can't compete, or well, actually, I messaged him a couple of weeks ago, and he told me his PC's gone to shit. That's a pretty good reason to not
Yeah, but
compete.
okay, with someone like that, if you like, I message Drago, do you want to compete? Drago says no. You really think I'm gonna ask why not? Like, I don't need to ask why not.
No, sorry, yeah, sorry. The example, no, yeah, sorry. I referenced Drago just because we had a conversation like a few weeks ago. It was just a little catch up about stuff. And he happened to mention his PC was gone to shit. But yeah, that's where the comparison comes back again. It's just like Smokey would ask, someone says no, and that would be it. If it
Well,
was
so
me, I would then just quickly ask why, get a reason or maybe not, and then just forget about it. Leave it at that.
That was how, because
Well,
he put mine in, well, he like kind of called me out in the Discord. I just asked why and then called it there in a private
you did
conversation.
ask a few times though, didn't you? Didn't you ask like in a few different parties or
I
like on a
asked
few
him
different
once
days?
publicly and then asked him once privately, and that is where I left it.
well, I'm curious, Chumpy. What kind of answer were you expecting from him?
I was clueless why, hence why I asked why.
You didn't think there was an actual reason why he couldn't run?
Exactly.
Well,
So what? So
again, that
Chumpy, all
comes back
right,
to
Chumpy. What if the answer was just I just don't want to run your course?
I would
that was it,
have been chill.
wasn't it? Wasn't
That
that
would be
basically
great.
what his answer was?
No, no, he said that. Well, first he kind of like, was like, I don't get why you'd want to ask me why, and then he was like, what did he say? He was like, you can't take things so personal, even though I didn't assume it was a personal thing to begin with.
Well, that kind of been
And
the first thing he said, surely. If you asked him, "Hey, Puma, do you want to
no,
compete?" and he said
I'm
no,
trying to. Okay, I'm trying to like remember it how
oh,
it went. I asked him why, and then it words.
okay,
He
yeah,
said
okay.
he said because I just don't want to. Then I was like,
Well, that's what Smokey
okay.
just said.
No, and then I was like, okay, and then left it.
Oh,
I left it. And then he put that in the Discord, and then I rationally got a little bit ticked
I
off
I
because
I should also, for clarity, this was the same night when Flame had his little back and forth with Rog, and I do think that
yeah.
influenced Puma's message. So even though you might have thought it was his message was specifically towards you, it might have also just been a general thing. Um, Look, I'm
But
not
I
disagreeing.
feel like my
I'm not saying there's.
frustration. I feel like my frustration's valid for him putting in the Discord. I couldn't care less if he. I got 42 runs. Like I had my best showing this tournament. I could have lived without Puma.
Well,
I
that's what I
didn't need him.
messaged to you afterwards. I said like it doesn't matter if like three other people said I'm not going to run your tournament because you're still going to get like 90% of the people that you would expect to get. And you know, you've had all those people amongst your 42 runners. There's, like I say, I only wanted to bring this up. I don't want to carry on with this much longer. Like I just wanted to bring this up because I don't want this to become a regular occurrence of where it just becomes more and more people using it as a reason. Because I still do stand by the belief that this is a partially a thing where people don't want to compete because they're worried about looking bad. There's other reasons for it, for not competing, like grudges or just not having the time. But yeah, I don't know. For me, if you're not having fun, then or if you're worried about failing rather than having fun, well then that's the bigger problem. Well, that's the bigger issue, in my opinion. You should be having fun and then worrying about. Well, you shouldn't be worrying about failing regardless. But you should be having fun first and foremost. You should enjoy doing it. Um,
That's the big thing.
and I
think
don't.
that's the
And
big
this wasn't
takeaway.
meant to be. This wasn't in any way meant to be me like calling out specific people. This is just a general issue that I think is amongst like the people. All right, the people that I called out. Apologies, anyone that was offended by this. There's plenty of other people that probably are also falling into this category that I haven't name dropped. Um, I don't know all their names, but like they fall into this exact same category of like, oh, I don't want to run because I don't want to look bad, or I don't want to run because of this reason or that reason or whatever. And it's just like, I, I don't know. I don't know what else to say apart from repeating myself at this point. It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
just got to enjoy yourself. And I apologize if this upsets anyone, if this bothered Smokey or Gary. This was not meant to be a super
No,
insane.
that's the whole point. We got to discuss this.
Yeah,
We don't
it's
have to all
just
agree on everything.
yeah, it was just something that I personally felt has been slowly creeping in more recently to just the general community as a whole, whether it's on Discord or Xbox. I mean, it's clearly been happening often enough that Gary has heard about it multiple times in parties. So it's clearly a conversation that's been cropping up way too many times. But again, I understand obviously from Gary's point of view, if it seems like I was trying to, if it seemed like I was trying to deliberately talk shit on any specific one person, it absolutely wasn't. And anyone that was offended, I do apologize. It's just I just want everyone to enjoy themselves, and I want everyone, whether that's everyone that's running a course or everyone that's hosting a course, you should just be enjoying yourself, and you should be doing it because you enjoy it or because you want to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just simple as that, really.
I will say this, man. Like right now, there are so many courses to the point where like, yeah, there's some that I'm gonna practice more for, and some that I'm not gonna practice more for. So can I really blame anyone for like not having the time to practice them all and saying, you know what, I just don't think I'm gonna do that good on this course, so I'd rather just not compete? Like, no, I can't blame him for that.
No,
I can't blame him for
I
that.
don't expect
Like,
anyone
especially with how many courses there are right now. There's a lot of courses going on. Like 3 that were I just had to run 3 within 2 weekends, Like, yeah, sometimes people get online to play video games, and it's a way to decompress,
Relax.
it's a way to escape reality, and sometimes a jumping course doesn't really achieve that effect for some people. So, you know,
Maybe that's
I would
and
say
then
this
again. Sorry, go on.
I would just say my final thoughts on this for Chumpy is just, Chumpy, your course is so much greater than any one competitor. So always remember that. And if you do want feedback on why someone might not be running your course, do it with someone you know that you can trust. Because if it's going to be someone who you think might just be making up an excuse just because they don't want to compete, then I wouldn't even waste your time with it. But if you do want to get some legit constructive criticism from someone, just make sure it's someone you trust.
It's good advice. It goes for a lot of people.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
I have a
I
problem
would.
with-
That whole situation, like, I know, like, there was many places where that should have stopped. And, you know, I'm not going to get too far into it. I chose the wrong person to try to have a decent conversation with, because you know how he is.
Well, I wouldn't go any.
But-
I wouldn't go any further into that.
I'm saying I just should have stopped from the start because I should have, you know, realized the crowd who I was reaching out to.
It is what it
if
is.
you know what I mean.
It is what it is.
I'll live.
Yeah. But I do get Smokey's point. Like, I'm probably extremely unique in this situation because I feel it's a privilege well, at least for me, it's a privilege for me that I've managed to like compete in every tournament of almost every course that's going. You can thank Smokey for that. Smokey's course has kind of made it a big deal for me. So like, I have like a perfect attendance on Smokey's course, Chumpy's course, Flame's course, Irish's course, Abs, not Rog's course. And I feel like, you know, I want to keep until something horrible happens where I'm in a hospital or something or dead or something. I'd rather, you know, like to keep that perfect streak going. But for anybody else who's not like that, yeah, there's just like you can't run a course or like there's too many courses happening at once. That's maybe something where us as course hosts could do better with trying to not all host at the same time. But that's just a completely different conversation.
I did make a group chat.
You've had
recently
yours
with,
penciled in for like 4 months, so you're in the clear.
I did recently make a group chat with Irish and Flame, and we're gonna try to work out ways to like not run at the exact same time anymore.
I think this period has probably been the most busiest it's been since like maybe Christmas and New Year's, because there's been, I think at one point there was 4 courses. I think, oh no, it was only 3 courses. 3 courses happening at the same time, and then Irish has ended, and then Flames has just now started. So again, there was 3 courses, but obviously yours is finishing.
Yeah.
But you know,
I think
we
the
need
big difference make.
Sorry, go on.
I chose to get everything done in 2 weeks, which I'm not gonna lie to you. I got it done, but like I was very pushy, I guess. I think is a way with runs because like let's be real, who else is getting a lot of runs that aren't on the final weekend, you know?
I don't know.
I'm saying like I did cause a lot of traffic by giving 2 weeks to run, you know, for this
Yeah.
like period. So that is kind of my fault, but it all worked itself out, so we're good.
You still got like I say, you still got 42 runs, and probably the last 8 spots are just going to be randos anyway. So
Yeah, but it was a lot of traffic for like Irish's course, Frog's course that were caused by, you know, me giving a select amount of time.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see what
Yeah.
you mean. Yeah.
So it just kind of made, I feel like it kind of made these 2 weeks a lot for like people, you know,
Gary.
if you know what I mean.
Oh, he did here. Are you still mad at me? I apologize.
I'm
apologize.
disappointed in the both of you.
In both of us? Well, you don't need to be disappointed in Chumpy. You can be disappointed in me.
I didn't have this idea. Leave me out of this.
What are you talking about?
I did. He did.
What?
Literally
did.
everything that I had to say, it felt like it went in one ear and right out the other from the both of you.
What did I do? I've just been here. I've been listening. More of a nod.
Listening is different from taking in.
Okay, Gary.
I have a message to say, but it feels like it's been ignored.
I have been listening tentatively to everybody from every corner. I don't think that
Not
you
even
should
like
be-
5 minutes ago, you nearly went on a tirade about how you don't have good interactions with Booma.
That's personal, though.
It's
yes,
okay
kept
if
that
it's
one.
personal.
I
keep
should
it
have
off the
kept that one to
broadcast.
myself.
Yeah,
I should have kept
mean,
that one to myself.
it really does come down to the person. I'll say this: like, if I messaged Hunter to compete for Hill Ninja Warrior and Hunter said I'm not competing, then I'm gonna be asking some questions, you know. But
It depends on the host and it depends on the person
Yeah, like if it's a
or
good
the person
because,
who you're messaging.
yeah, especially in a situation like that. I mean, if it's someone who I know is a little iffy with both with me and with my course and all that type of stuff, then I'd rather just not even ask questions. Unless, like, if I want feedback, then great. But the thing that I've learned with feedback is it doesn't matter if you get feedback from someone who you don't want feedback from. Like, you could get feedback from someone who knows what's best for your course, but if you don't think that they care, if they think they're telling you just to tell you, then like who wants that? People don't. What's the saying? People don't care how much you know, but they need to know how much you care. Something like that. So
I think I know that phrase.
yeah, that's what I try to live by.
I'm not familiar with that phrase. Yeah. But I'm not. Yeah, if it offended Gary, then I absolutely apologize. It was not my intention. I think Gary's a little bit more frustrated than he's letting on right now. This was not. This was not an
opportunity. Party.
Well, I was going to say I think he's definitely on the opposite fence right now, but I don't want him
I mean,
to
neutral
like.
party in terms of the jumping community overall, because he doesn't compete.
Oh, no, but
he doesn't
yeah.
Really...
I didn't want to like carry on this conversation just with the deliberate purpose of trying to upset Gary or make Gary look at me in a different manner.
It's not about upsetting him. As long as you just take what he has to say and like listen to it and understand it. That's all he wants.
I was going to say I don't necessarily like I say I agreed with what some of the things that Gary said.
Yeah.
I just don't want to walk out of this podcast and Gary hates me for the next 5 years.
But I mean, not much can be done. Again, like all the words in the world don't matter. It's the actions that matter. So
yeah, at the end of the day, this podcast is just an opinion. Like any podcast that we have done, past or present or future, is us offering our opinions. If we end up talking about certain topics, necessarily mean anyone has to agree with them or take them on board. But yeah, as long as this isn't the day in history where Gary hates me now for all eternity.
I hate you for all of eternity. I'll do
it.
it.
No, we passed that bridge, Chompy. That was like 6 years ago, dude. We crossed that bridge, and look at it now.
Was it 6 years ago?
I don't know how long ago it was.
It was 2020, right?
It was way before that when
I had my meltdown?
No, I was thinking about the whole ROG incidents. Incidents, plural.
We were on the same side with the ROG incident.
Oh, I feel like I can't remember then. It was too long ago.
My nickname in the community for Mumps was Hunter Jr., bro. What? I had to take that.
You guys do sound very
for
similar.
Agreeing with you.
What? I think
What?
the only time me and Chumpy ever sound similar is when we both say yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's we're just toxic guys. That's the
Why? Whoa,
reality.
whoa, whoa! I didn't say that.
I
Jeez,
agree.
I wouldn't throw me under that category just because of one podcast rant where I was offering my opinion on something
Can
that
I
was
just
passionate to
say,
me.
I'm the usual drama guy. This was Hunter's idea.
This was my idea, 100%. Yeah, the 8 previous podcasts before this, or 7 where I was on them, where Chumpy went on a rant of some kind. That was all him. This one was my idea, because it was just something that was on my mind. And also because Chumpy said to me yesterday, "Let's have a podcast," and I was just like, "Oh, okay."
We are big fans of verbal warfare
Can I
and
point
violence.
out one other thing though? And this is just
No.
this is just for everyone.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
There's no fucking right answer to any of this bullshit. Like, it's not like we're doing something that a lot of other people have done before. We're in our own little weird world in this Halo jumping community. There's no right answers. Everything's changing. There's a lot of people, a lot of different people, a lot of diversity. Everyone's got different values, perspectives, and all that. So
There's no
there's no-
right answer
there's-
except for mine.
there's never going to be a right answer
I'm
except for
joking.
Chumpy's.
Yeah.
Or Gary's.
Now that
Gary's
we're
is-
all on the same page, yeah.
No, Gary can. We just got to be careful with Gary.
Hmm.
Gary can sometimes give us the wrong answer on purpose because he just wants us to fail.
Fizzle.
Right.
Gary's still just salty that he failed stage 1 when it wasn't even him.
All right.
Somebody
What?
Impersonated me.
That's a scam. Scammer gets scammed.
Yeah, Gary's
Who
just
was
upset
that?
because he knows that if it was actually him, he would have cleared.
Yeah, true.
When was this?
Tournament 2.
Years ago.
Oh, well, that wasn't Gary?
That wasn't actually Gary, no.
Is that why he did so good?
Yeah, probably.
I just always assumed.
Well,
Well, I mean,
podcast exclusive.
he did one of my courses on Reach, like, I didn't even know how many years
Legitimately?
ago, like 11 years ago. I assumed it was him. It could have been you. You
What was it,
both ran.
Smokey Upheaval? Dude, was
Yeah,
that the actual
Smokey Upheaval.
that the actual
Was
gamer
that
tag
you?
in the game?
Smoky
Yeah.
Upheaval was my
That was
gamer
Gary.
tag during the Reach era.
I was going to say, you were in the game at the same time with each other. You did your run at the same time, so I
Well, didn't
assumed
you-
it was Gary.
Gary actually did a legit run on my course in Halo
I
5.
did a legit run. There was some run somewhere that I was informed a day after that I apparently was credited for in the video, but in reality, it wasn't me playing that Spartan.
Yeah, that was tournament 2.
Ah, that was the tournament 2 one. Yeah, so then Gary
I think you
did
were-
do a run on my. I was going to say, Gary did do a run then on my course once on Reach, and he actually did beat an obstacle, legitimately.
And I think was it
One
was it
obstacle.
tournament 19?
There
My
was
course that he
a
was in?
course where I made it like 75 or so percent through the whole run, and then I failed on like one of the last, or like maybe the last, like third to last course or like a obstacle.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Obstacle.
Gary actually is on record for running Halo Sasuke. He just doesn't know it yet. I'm joking. Of course.
Well, I was going to say, what Gary's referencing there sounds similar to what Smokey's saying with the Tournament 2, but Smokey's saying that the Tournament 2 one wasn't actually Gary, but it just had Gary's name or gamer tag.
I remember like actually running a course and doing
Yeah.
it. So it's possible that the impersonation run, we just can't remember specifically which one it was.
I only know 4
The
Gary
big
runs.
jumping mystery.
I was going to say, I only know 4 Gary
Yeah.
runs in the history of everything. 2 on my course and 2 on Smokey's course, and that's all I know.
I did a run on Gary's course once.
Oh God. I for some reason found myself watching it was Do you know there's 12 Star Wars movies out there? If you include the Clone Wars
Oh yeah,
as a movie.
Well, that's
I
your
what
first
I did
mistake.
hear about this.
I was gonna say, well, I watched a video on YouTube. Where it's synced up all 12, 11, 12 Star Wars movies and just played them at the same time. Um, and it was I only clicked on it just to look at like the first like 5 or 10 minutes of it, and I think I probably spent an hour just watching all these different movies at different points, and just picking out certain bits from each ones that was. Do you know which Star Wars movie is the longest movie? 'Cause I didn't
Wait, let
realize
me.
this.
The Last Jedi.
Nope.
Uh, Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. I didn't know that that was the longest Star Wars movie ever. Um, I think A
It's
New
the
Hope.
most boring one.
Not
God,
including the animated movie.
I
I
don't
think New
like
Hope was
sand.
the shortest, unsurprisingly.
It's coarse and it's rough. It gets everywhere.
Your course is rough and gets everywhere, Chumpy.
Duh.
Shut the
Is there any good scenes? I'm struggling
Your
to remember
face
any.
is rough and gets everywhere.
Yeah, but I like that sort of thing. Um, is there any memorable scene? I feel like Attack of the Clones was the one movie where I was looking at nothing on that screen. Like it's obviously 12 movies split into 12 boxes on a screen, so there's not exactly a lot you can see. Because it's not that big. I don't think I ever once looked at Attack of the Clones because there is no. Is there any interesting scenes at all in that movie?
What are you talking about?
Um,
The whole
yeah.
fucking Geonosis battle.
Hell,
No,
my
well,
favorite
compared to
scene in the whole movie uh, precedes the Coliseum event for the execute the
when
what was supposed
Anakin's
to be
going
the
through the factory.
execution. No.
You know?
Dooku
Having his
approaches
chat.
Detained Obi-Wan
Yeah.
and attempts to convince him to
Oh,
join
it tells him
him.
the fucking truth.
Yeah, he tells him the truth. Dooku,
Okay.
I'm going to be honest with you, out of all of the characters, admittedly, the Clone Wars animated shows didn't do the character any favor. Like, just from the original George Lucas character creation, for the movies and in some of his little written stuff, Dooku is probably the best character in the whole Star Wars fiction.
I would agree with that. Actually,
Hands
I've
down.
seen a lot of stuff on. I don't know why I get all these things popping up on my phone. Like when I'm going on my Facebook feed and stuff, like I scroll down and I see like Jedi lore stuff on like fan pages or Star Wars pages or what that I'm not even like subscribed to or anything. But it's just like, oh, you might like this. And it's just like I've seen so many random lore bits about Dooku, that yeah. I kind of feel bad for Dooku anytime I watch the first 10 minutes of Revenge of the Sith now. Um,
My favorite episode.
I didn't really watch a lot of. I didn't really.
To and CP3O have that
What?
hot scene.
PC3.
CP what? C3
C3PO.
CP3.
You said you definitely didn't say that the first time. You said
He
like
said it. He
Oh,
said something
God.
weird. I don't know how he said it.
he said
C3PO?
CPU. I think you said CPPO. I think you said
Hey,
CPP.
quit it. I'm dumb, okay? We get it. God.
I don't think I ever once looked at anything that was happening. I don't know. Sorry, I did once on the Solo movie, and it was when Han Solo shoots the other dude right at the end of the movie, whatever his name was, his mentor. I looked at that. I didn't watch anything else in the movie or look in that box.
Yeehaw.
Has anyone got a favorite noticeable, like just an absolute standout scene in Star Wars that's like hands down their favorite scene in any Star Wars movie?
Favorite scene is hard. I do have. I'm gonna give you an underrated shot. This is just this isn't an actual, not a full scene, but there's one individual shot in The Force Awakens that, to me, I always thought was just so freaking epic and like just so Star Wars to me. And it's just one shot. It only is on screen for a couple seconds, but it's after. God, I'd have to go watch it again to like really know the exact moment. But it's after.
I've just seen it, so
Kylo.
I could probably
It's
help with it.
I'd be shocked if you were gonna know the one frame I'm talking about. But it's right after Kylo Ren
Yeah.
kills Han Solo, and they cut to like. He's out there on that little tiny bridge, and I think it might be like Chewbacca shoots Kylo Ren, and then stuff starts blowing up, maybe from Poe. It might be right to that, but they do like this really low angle from like deep in the tunnel, like that Han Solo just fallen into, and it just shows up, and you see like all the structure around, and you can just see Kylo Ren's lightsaber like in the middle of the frame, just super tiny. But like the lighting is fucking awesome. The scenery is just so cool. It's just such a gorgeous shot. Just one absolutely badass like moment of Star Wars imagery that I always think about. So
No, didn't remember that
next time y'all are
specific
watching
shot.
that,
I did watch the Han Solo death when that popped up in the timeline. Actually, all 12 movies, they when it got to the specific point, they mute because obviously all 12 movies were playing the audio at the same time as well, so you also couldn't really hear anything that was going on.
yeah.
But when it got to the specific point in the movie, the guy who uploaded it muted all 12 movies. Well, all 12 movies apart from when Ewan McGregor says hello there to General Grievous.
Nice.
just to play that one bit of audio.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Didn't do it without Guinness's hello
Sorry, I'm not
there.
trying to take over this conversation, but I'm going to say my again, this might not be my favorite of all time, but it's one that stands out to me a lot, and I think it's extremely underrated. One of my absolute favorite scenes in all of Star Wars is the scene in A New Hope when all the Imperial officers are sitting at that table, they're all discussing crap, and then like there's the two arguing about like one's saying that the Death Star is gonna wipe out the rebels, and like the Empire doesn't need to worry, and then there's another officer in there who's like, you think that this is the answer to everything, but like these rebels are something to be feared. We need to be more careful. And that just felt like such a good interaction. And then Tarkin walks in and talks about how the Imperial Senate has been dissolved. And just like that, the level of impact from that conversation right there, the amount of relevance to everything Star Wars related, even outside of A New Hope, is kind of amazing considering that scene was written when A New Hope was mostly just by itself. So seeing how that one scene ties into all of Star Wars is absolutely amazing.
I'm gonna just go for the easy cop out and just say the scene, the specific part of the duel in Phantom Menace where you can hear the most of Duel of the Fates. I'm talking the bit where it starts in the hangar and then it ends. I think like they jump over the platform and then Obi-Wan goes for a move, and then it cuts to Maul's face, who's blocked it, or a close-up of Maul's face, and then and I'll throw in the last shot just before that starts, when Anakin's flying away, and it.
Grapple shot obtained.
Okay, Hunter
hello?
disconnected. I'm glad that wasn't just me.
I'm so confused. My favorite Star Wars scene is, oh god. Shit. I like this the scene whenever Sidious and Yoda are fighting, and it says just starts chucking the like Empire chairs at him. That's my favorite. I don't know why that's the one that came to mind, but it did. Anyways, now that Hunter's gone, we can talk shit about him.
Okay, I found the shot that I was talking about. I'm gonna screenshot this. This to me is just like such a beautiful Star Wars image. Oh my god, it's so good. Oh no, Disney Plus figured out a way to. Okay, that's all right. I'll just. How else can I do this?
No, not Disney Plus.
How do I take a screenshot of just a? I guess I'll just take a fucking photo on my phone then. Damn, that sucks. But this right here, man, is just so gorgeous. Oh, the
It's so gorgeous. Gorgeous.
okay. For reference in the podcast.
Include your audio. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
sick.
know exactly
That
what you're
is
talking about. You
sick.
said it ends with the shot of Darth Maul's face, so he blocked the hit. Hunter, I'm sending you a screen. I took a picture of it on my computer, but this is the exact shot I was talking about. It's just so fucking cool. I sent it on Discord. No, it's just a low angle. Like everything's blowing up. That like the lightsaber right there is just it looks so good. That shot is one of my absolute favorite shots in all of Star Wars. The other one, the other individual shot that I'm obsessed with is there's a shot in Solo, a Star Wars story, when the Falcon is like I think they had just it's like right before they do the Kessel run. I can't remember. But anyway, they're flying through space and they just go out into this area where there's kind of like some lightning and stuff, but like for the most part, it's just this massive image of nothing but black. It's just all black, and you see one tiny little blue sliver of light, which is the Millennium Falcon, like in the middle of the screen, and it just shows how fucking vast like the space is that where they're at. I feel like Star Wars never really did that a lot before. Solo is so underrated. Solo is so good. Highly
I think
underrated.
that's the one that I missed.
I don't think so. Not. I don't think it got a lot of hate. No, I'll tell you. No, I'll tell you the background. Like the shit that movie was getting was people freaked the fuck out because halfway through production they switched directors, and then they went back and started doing reshoots. Which I don't know. I guess people who are Star Wars fans heard the term reshoots and freaked out because they're like, "Oh, movies aren't like, oh, they're having to reshoot it because it was so bad." Blah blah. No, it literally every movie in the world does fucking reshoots. Like,
Hey Hunter, look at
that's part of the
Discord.
production. Oh yeah.
I sent you guys a video on
Yeah, I
Discord.
do remember that. But undeserved. Movie is so good.
It's just they're vibing, bro. It's funny. Oh, Rogue One was really good.
Honestly, yeah, that's my hot take. I know that this is not the popular opinion, but I do think that Han Solo is better than Rogue One.
I was
Yeah, yeah, and I still do. I think Rogue One's great. I think Solo, for what it is just such a fun and enjoyable movie. And actually, I don't know, it almost just what it adds to Star Wars is he made Alden Ehrenreich did great. He played Han Solo in a way that he wasn't trying to mimic Harrison Ford. He kind of just made his own version of Han Solo essentially, but based on what happens in the story, you can totally see how Alden Ehrenreich's Han Solo character would eventually turn into Harrison Ford's character based on the shit that happens to him at the end. Oh, he's great in Han Solo. He's just a great actor. Yeah. Huh. That's crazy. Yep. Which was oh, that's good.
Yeah. I'm not as inept with the Star Wars as you guys.
Explain the Star War.
I mean, I can keep up. I sh- I just don't really. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm like as into it as you guys are. That's my take. I've never watched a Lord of the Rings movie.
Honestly, it's not. I love when people say that they haven't watched it. 'Cause that means that means I can force them to watch it. There's
What is
nothing
Lord of the Rings on? Is it on any
sometimes it'll be
platforms?
on Netflix. I don't think it is right now, but they never put the extended versions up.
Yeah. What's no, but give me Marvel. I'm into that shit. Yeah. Oh my god. I watched Guardians this weekend. Holy shit. It was awesome. Love that movie. Smokey, you liked it, right?
I, I loved it. First good Marvel movie in a long time. That was so overrated.
It was very fan servicey.
That was so overrated. Yeah.
But it was a pretty damn good fan servicey.
No, dude.
Me.
Well, here's the thing though. Here's the thing for me. I have literally throughout my entire life never been a superhero movie guy. I watched all the Marvel movies, and I honestly I've never once given a fuck about superhero movies, Marvel, DC, and that type of shit. The first superhero movie that ever did anything for me significant was Infinity War. I watched Infinity War, and that was the first time in my life that I walked out and I was like, "Holy shit! Now I actually need to go like watch all the old movies." Now I'm like into it. So I got super into it because of Infinity War, and I was obsessed with it for a little while. And then I went and I did watch all the other movies, and then now all the new movies are out, and I just don't care anymore. Guardians. I love Guardians
fair.
because Guardians is not like your typical superhero-y stuff. It's more sci-fi than anything else, and I enjoy it. I prefer sci-fi.
No, I almost cried watching
Oh,
the third Guardians movie.
I did. I cried during the movie, for sure.
For reasons, it almost got me.
The big thing with Infinity War was they obviously did the best job of anything like tying everything all together. It was actually epic. It had a dark tone throughout the entire movie. It didn't feel like every other Marvel movie where they're just trying to make these like serious moments and then like make people laugh. You know, they're trying to do some stupid joke in the middle of a serious situation. But the most important thing was by the end of the movie, the bad guy won.
I agree. I think that makes Infinity War great. It's because it's so different. Mhm. Yeah. No, that movie is one of those that just completely broke me. Yeah. Yeah, I expected it to. Uh, an hour and a half. Yeah. I think it's a good time to wrap up. I think we're running out of stuff to talk about. Yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't exactly have like what's the word? A topic that was gonna run more than a half an hour.
Well, let's before we end, let's all go around the room and say one thing that we all learned today.
What did I learn today? Um, Have I ever told you guys about the Enumclaw horse sex case? Oh,
Correct.
that's a story for another day then, I guess.
That's a song for another time.
I think what we learned today is that, like, what did we learn?
We or you? Just
I
you,
never
just
really-
You, just you.
I think what I need to do is
I can tell.
just learn that I don't need individuals to be successful. My course. That's what I learned.
Hey man, you're the
That's what
goat.
Smokey taught me.
What I learned is that I need to rewatch all the Star Wars movies at once. Interesting. At the very beginning, it had to be has to be the opening shot. I think well because there you hear like you don't see anyone, but like when the Marvel thing is going on, you hear people talking. So you hear like the radio signal, so it could be that.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, but that for me, Infinity War is amazing because it starts off like that. It starts off with such a serious tone. Like it starts off with a distress beacon. Yeah. 1.5.
I am.
I mean, yeah, the dude's pretty badass. Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before we wrap up this podcast, can I tell one quick last story?
Sure.
So my friend Courtney, she's in Florida now, and we lived in Japan for a long time. She's very big into Pokemon Go. She loves playing it all the time. She went out to she joined this Discord server in Florida with other people nearby her that play Pokemon Go. So they'll sometimes get together and do raids. So yesterday, I guess there was like a Shadow Mewtwo or something. I'm not exactly sure. Some big deal Pokemon that
Insert Pokemon.
it was like a big one. It was like one that would be really awesome to get. And if you know how Pokemon Go works, you do the raid, you battle them all together, and then at the end you get the chance to catch them. And then if you catch them, you get the cool Pokemon. So apparently there's like this little, maybe like 10-year-old kid out there who was like with his mom at the park, and then like the other group found out that he was playing Pokemon, so they like all joined in together, and the kid was like, "Yeah, I want to play." And then the kid, they all did the raid, they won, and then the kid went to actually catch the Pokemon, and he didn't end up catching it, which is like
Aw.
extra sad. Cause like you can't just go redo the raid. Like at that point it's gone, and you'll just have to wait for another one some other time, some other place. And who knows if you'll
That
even have the
breaks my
people to do
heart.
it. So like this poor little
That
kid,
actually breaks my
this
heart.
poor little kid, he did the raid with all the other people, and he just didn't catch it.
That actually breaks my heart.
I know, it was really sad. Yeah, I also didn't
Yeah.
know about that. I also just
It makes me feel kind of old because I used to keep up with that stuff like religiously. And now it's like. Really? Oh, the Falcon one? Is it the Falcon, Captain America? Can I be honest with you? That was one of the more mid Disney Plus series.
which one?
The Captain America.
Oh,
Falcon Winter
yeah.
Soldier.
My problem with that was that they had the bad Captain America dude, like the new Captain America guy who's just like an absolute piece of shit, and he like murders someone in the street, and he's like, he almost being like set up to be the villain, and then like in the last episode he just kind of like shows up, and they're like cool with him, like, hey, what's up, man? Hey, oh, thanks for helping out. Yeah, what do you want? Oh, you want to go get some coffee? Like, what about the part where he just murdered people in the street in cold blood? Like, Loki was fun. I didn't watch that one yet.
Oh no, I like the Hawkeye show. It was good.
Haley
Haley
Steinfeld.
Steinfeld. Yeah, yeah,
That was fine for
Yeah.
me.
That made the show a bit better, yeah. I won't lie. Alright. This has been it for the 9th installment of the Bald Podcast. Halo Sasuke 16. I'm hoping to have that premiere on June 10th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Niwa's apparently gonna happen a week before that, but we never know what's real at this point with Hunter Unit's upload schedule. Haha, comedy.
Sneeze?
Probably.
Gary
Gary
Sinise?
Who's that?
He's the first one that came to mind. But who's Gary Sinise? Damn, Lieutenant
He's
Dan,
Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay.
It's the one that comes to mind. I don't know about the most famous ever.
Okay. And the other important thing that's going to be happening is whenever the premiere of Tournament 16 takes place, the Tournament 17 map will be made public to practice. That's about it for me. Anything else? Is that it? Are we good? Happy thoughts?
Snoz.
All right. Was he?
Was he really?
Okay. I'm ending the podcast.
Yeah, he had a
Peace out,
cameo.
everybody. All right, I ended the podcast.